having Abbas as a partner, as the speaker, is good enough for me to succeed.
President Tinubu lauds executive legislative cordiality, says current partnership will lift Nigeria.
There is a case of irreconcilable crisis.
We've already agreed to work together as one family.
APC knocks PDP over Governor Fubara's actions in Port Harcourt as PDP sets its sight on retaining leadership in Edo State.
The Nigerian Correctional Service has over the years been a dependable ally of the ICPC.
Nigerian Correctional Service boss issues stern warning to officers on corrupt practices. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover in Abuja. Joining me tonight from Lagos is Hingino John Adams. And this broadcast is live via our website nta.ng/live and on other social media handles on your screen. Now, since the return of democracy in 1999, Nigeria has seen executive-legislative relationship in many colors. But President Bola Tinubu believes the current cordiality between the national executive and the legislative arms will fast-track the transformation of the country. The President expressed this hope at a grand reception in honor of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. State House correspondent Musbah Wahab reports.
61 years became very special here as the family members and well-wishers of the President of the Senate orchestrated this grand reception to honor the man that has been tagged uncommon in different capacities. Indeed, it was an uncommon birthday celebration. Apparently, an opportunity for the number 3 in the country to contribute to national development with the overarching discussions on the state of the nation and the way forward. But the concerns for national issues notwithstanding, the event became a show of a mentor and his mentee as the number 1 and the President of the Senate displayed mutual admiration for each other.
The policies you put in place in Lagos is what has made Lagos the biggest growing economy in West Africa for a city. The biggest. And he got it right in Lagos because he brought the best brains to work with him. And that is what Nigeria needs.
I am delighted to be here. For I believe in the person of Godswill Akpabio. It's truly God's will.
Tested in many capacities in the past, the President expressed much belief in the ability of the celebrants toward contributing to the national cause. And on that, President Tinubu appreciated the support he has so far enjoyed from both chambers of the National Assembly, believing this will lead to the common good of the country and its people.
The nationhood and the belief in one country will put us on the right path. Having you as a partner, having Abbas as a partner, as the speaker, is good enough for me to succeed. Inshallah, we will succeed. Yeah.
And for this moment and the hopeful years ahead, nothing gets bigger on this special occasion than the presidential wishes for the celebrants.
I'm delighted to join your family, friends, colleagues, and Nigerians from across the country in wishing you a long life of good health and peace, satisfaction and gratitude for abiding grace of God Almighty. To Uncommon Senate President, I wish you a happy birthday.
In Abuja, Musbah Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the colloquium organized to mark the 61st birthday of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, did turn out as a platform for leaders to push for national rebirth and affirmation of renewed vigor towards meeting the aspirations of Nigerians. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali tells us more.
The choice of topic of the colloquium, Legislative Agenda for National Development, was not a coincidence. It aligns with the vision of the celebrants, Senator Godswill Akpabio, of providing the wherewithal to citizens to aspire and achieve ambitions.
This government is a corrective government. The centerpiece of our legislative agenda is nothing but people-centered. Ours is to think of the people of Nigeria that gave us this enormous responsibility and such a rare privilege for us to look into their affairs.
We can only achieve the desired progress by thinking out of the box and developing innovative approaches to governance.
After he was elected to be the Senate President of Nigeria, he was elected to be a member of the Executive Committee of IPU.
To many, you have assumed the office of President of the Senate at a difficult time. But to a number of others who knows you well, your capacity to navigate difficult terrains is what earned you the popular appellation uncommon.
The guest speaker, Olisa Agbakuba, SAN, outlined ideas that portray the Nigerian can-do spirit with suggestions for legislative, judicial, economic and electoral reforms to meet targets.
For the president to make progress with the president of the Senate, peace must reign. So the first task is, how do we find peace? It will be by executive and legislative process.
The main strategy to drive the goals of government, in this case the 8-point agenda, is to weave legislative intervention around policies for better outcomes. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Well, earlier today, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Gboyega Oyetola, informed lawmakers that part of the 10.9 billion naira allocated to the sector in 2024 will be used to modernize the Apapa and Tin Can Island ports. This was while defending the budget before the joint Senate and House committees on marine transport, ports and harbors and related standing committees. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen reports.
Scrutinizing the 2023 budget performance of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, lawmakers queried the underutilization of 130 million naira released for rehabilitation and patronage of eastern ports in the country.
You have given us the percentage of the utilization. Give us the balances. That will not raise any question.
What we're trying to do is to create new ports, to have the kind of draft level that is obtainable in Tema, in Ghana, and that of Lomé. The new Lekki port is 16.5, which is good enough. That's the standard of the new port we're trying to establish.
Meanwhile, effective use of water resources for food security is the focus of the strategic plans of the Ministry of Water Resources as captured in its 2024 budget proposals.
We have highlighted those critical treatment water schemes that are that needs urgent attention in the country.
The committee is ready and willing to work with your ministry and all the agencies.
On its part, the House Committee on Public Procurement calls for judicious use of the 2.2 billion naira 2024 budget of the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP.
Public procurement has a vital role to play in the eradication of corruption in the country, as most of the corruption cases in the country can be traced to procurement processes.
In a separate interface, lawmakers are seeking progress on attainment of sustainable development goals that will have ripple effect on critical economic sectors.
And so much is expected, from the office.
Government expenditure, it is agreed, must have corresponding impact on the masses. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikpen, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government says it is deploying comprehensive data to address deficiencies in policy making while proffering solutions to the growth trajectory of Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the assurance at the 2023 Controller General of Customs Annual Conference in Lagos. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Underscoring the need for the integration of complex data to interpret the pattern of transactions and international trade, Vice President Kashim Shettima disclosed plans to turn Nigeria into a hub of export and import activities. The benefit of comprehensive data goes beyond determining revenue generation. He said it provides the sharpest lens to connect the dots, even in establishing the security of Nigerian borders.
Our current governance landscape demands a transformative intervention, and the solution is what has brought us here together today. There is no doubt that the chiming of this clock of modernity is inviting us to take action. It is inviting us to adopt evidence-based processes and innovative strategies to align policies with the objectives of this administration, to streamline decision-making, and to resolve conflict arising from misinformation and inconsistent policies within the government.
Expressing delight with efforts by the Nigeria Customs Service to accumulate large amount of data to shape a public service system that upholds data integrity as its core. He noted that the first step is to invest in the training and capacity building to stand with the best minds in the world. The customs boss said the significance of technology in the global customs operation cannot be overemphasized, hence the need to adapt to the global requisitions. Stakeholders advocated a special economic status for Lagos State, giving its contribution to the nation's economy in terms of revenue generation and developmental impact. Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Nigerian women are yet again demonstrating strong resolve for a better deal nationally, even as they recommit to contribute their quota to national development. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, is leading the charge with her investiture as the Grand Patron of the National Council for Women's Societies. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo has more.
Another crowning moment there for Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, as she formally takes on the role of championing the cause of Nigerian women with her investiture as the Grand Patron of the National Council for Women's Societies of Nigeria. Conferring the official title on the First Lady at a ceremony held at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, National President of the Council, Hajia Lamilau, says the decision to award her the honor was an easy one for the Council, going by her contributions to gender struggle and women empowerment in the country.
Today, as the First Lady of Nigeria, we anticipate a season of accelerated growth. Our dear First Lady is a model of virtue and consumed with desire to use her position to improve the life of women and family.
Appreciating the Council for the honor, the First Lady says the agitation for women empowerment is not just for social justice, but also because empowered women are the catalyst for national development. With her new status, her bold face, caring heart, and strong resolve are all expected to provide fresh impetus to the struggle for gender equality in the country.
I will advocate for initiatives that support women's health, economic empowerment, and work towards eliminating all forms of violence and discrimination against women. We are already collaborating with relevant stakeholders to ensure that the voices of women are heard and their concerns are addressed at all levels of decision making.
And riding on the momentum of the ceremony, the First Lady went straight into a meeting with wives of governors from the 36 states of the Federation. The main agenda is their shared concern on how to achieve total eradication of HIV/AIDS, particularly through prevention of mother-to-child transmission, using education and advocacy.
We can do this and we must do it. As the theme for the 2023 World AIDS Day indicates, let community lead. We will be taking the advocacy to our traditional rulers, religious leaders of various faiths, community leaders, educational institutions, and the nook and crannies of the nation.
Also on the table is the Renewed Hope Initiative Elderly Support Program, which is scheduled to hold across the country on the 21st of December this year. Under the scheme, which is to ensure that the elderly are given pleasant Yuletide season, a sum of 100,000 naira is to be given to 250 aged persons from each state. To facilitate easy disbursement, she says each state will be paid the total sum of 25 million naira, urging them to put aside political differences in support of the scheme. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Time now for a quick break. There'll be more news in just a moment. Thanks for staying with us. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, is assuring Nigerians that current policies of the federal government would eventually stimulate the economy and lay a strong foundation for sustainable prosperity of Nigeria. The minister stated this at the public presentation of a book titled This Life No Balance, an anthropology of Nigerian diaspora voices here in Abuja. Salihu Gwanara reports.
The 12th chapter book, This Life No Balance, co-authored by Professors Farouk Berogi, Moses Ochonu, and Dr. Osmond Agbo, is an intellectual contribution from these Nigerians in the diaspora, essentially highlighting and providing global perspectives to specific areas such as education, federal character policy, and corruption.
And it is a must read for those seeking a better understanding and resilient spirit that defines our people.
Moses and I have published books in America. We've always struggled about the contradictions about writing about Nigeria, and it's not read by Nigerians. And so this was a great opportunity. We decided to publish the book in Nigeria.
The minister says hope is already being renewed for all-round development.
We know that Nigerians are going through some discomfort. Mr. President has put in place some measures to cushion that, and longer measures are being put in place for the long run. So please bear with the president. So much is going to happen. The CNG buses have started being rolled out. The conditional cash transfer is already been implemented. The 35,000 wage award as demanded by Labour is also on track.
Participants reaffirmed that Nigeria's challenges require local solutions.
So we need to put our hearts together. It is not about strike. Strike is not the solution to university education in Nigeria. It's not. ASU must think differently. And I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility.
The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.
Nigerians from all walks of life graced the event. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, has declared Friday, the 15th December 2023, as the first day of Jumada Sani. This follows the non-sighting of the moon by any of the sighting committees across the country. The Sultan therefore declared tomorrow, Friday, as the first day of Jumada Sani. The Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has described some of the recent decisions enforced by the PDP-led Similai Fubara's administration in the state as unlawful. Addressing journalists at the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja, the state chairman, Tony Okocha, says the presentation of the 800 billion naira 2024 appropriation bill to 4 members only and the declaration of the seats of 27 members who defected to APC as vacant falls short of the requirements of the law and would therefore not hold water.
We will not allow anybody to hunt, intimidate, harass, threaten our members, because to the extent that the assembly members have defected to the All Progressive Congress, they are now our responsibility to protect. So we are telling the governor that he cannot thrive on illegality.
Chairman added that the party will deploy legitimate and legal means to ensure constitutional order is restored in the assembly and the 2024 budget presentation represented in compliance with democratic governance and the rule of law.
The Constitution provides a reason for which any member of the legislature can cross carpet. And that reason, vividly put, is the fact that there is a case of irreconcilable crisis.
He says no amount of intimidation will deter the APC from ensuring that democratic process takes precedence in the unusual happenings in the state, and that the party is still working closely to woo the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike officially into its fold. Well, on the flip side, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party is setting its sight on Edo, with claims that the Edo State chapter of the party is now united as the party heads into the state's governorship election next year. This was at a stakeholders meeting of the PDP National Working Committee with the Edo State chapter of the party, where Governor Godwin Obaseki restated that there is no rift between him and his deputy, Philip Shuaibu. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Critical stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party from Edo State converged on the party's national secretariat in Abuja for a critical meeting with the party's National Working Committee, where the unity of members topped the meeting's agenda. The leadership of the party and the Edo State stakeholders conveyed their resolutions after meeting behind closed doors.
We've already agreed to work together as one family, and we will go further to break it into a smaller committee so that at the end of the day we'll come out with a better solution. But in conclusion, Edo now is one family.
There's no issue with my deputy. Absolutely none. He wants to contest. No, he doesn't have to drop his ambition. He's a free-born of Edo State. He can contest. We're not stopping anybody.
Thank you very much.
I will support whoever the party supports.
It's fundamental that the party stays united and the party stays strong. And that's what we're all focused on. Everybody that was in that room, that's what we're all focused on.
Then joined the aggrieved members of the PDP in Edo State to let go of their differences and unite towards the party's victory in the state's 2024 governorship election. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Now on to security matters. The Department of State Services is engaging civil society organizations and media practitioners towards building a symbiotic relationship for national security. Francis Form reports.
Gathered in this hall are civil society organizations, media practitioners, members of other security agencies, and representatives from ministries, departments, and agencies of government. The conversation here is on collaboration to chart a new course for a secure, peaceful, and better Nigeria.
No country can develop without peace and security. And that happens to be our mandate to provide. But we cannot do that without the cooperation of the media, civil society, and other sectors of the country.
This type of engagement is sacrosanct for combating internal security threats, such as fake news and hate speech, as well as a religious intolerance bedeviling in our nation today.
The service will continue to use its platforms, its networks, partnership and collaborations to ensure that all the challenges confronting the nation are nipped.
Reconstructing perspectives and narratives for national peace and harmony, a task for all. Media, civil society, and national security, friends and foes, and balancing media reportage for consensus nation building. Challenges and prospects, amongst other things, form the basis for the discussion.
We need all of us to do our bit to restore hope so that our society does not rot from within.
The engagement is the second in the series, which the DSS says it will sustain for feedback mechanism. Francis from NTA News.
United Nigeria Airlines Limited, one of the country's leading airlines, has expanded its flight operations to Sokoto and Kano routes with a commitment to providing world-class air services to Nigerian travelers. At the inaugural flights, the chairman of the company, Professor Obiora Okonkwo, reaffirmed that affordability, safety, comfort, and efficiency are key to the airways operations. Aliu Kabir reports.
In its quest of expanding the travel options available to Nigerians, the United Nigeria Airlines Limited has commenced its operations en route Abuja-Sokoto and Abuja to Kano. This is in addition to the existing routes across the major cities of Nigeria. The inaugural flight on board to Sokoto was the Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III alongside the governor of the state Ahmed Aliyu and other prominent Nigerians, including the chairman of the airline, Professor Obiora Okonkwo, and the members of his entourage. The occasion showcased the ability of the airlines at uniting the nation and its desire to boosting economic activities and the promotion of national integration. The message was straight when the team visited the palace of the Sultan of Sokoto, describing the gesture as unprecedented.
When the idea of United Airlines came up some 3 years ago also, I supported him, I prayed for him.
United Nigeria has come with the best of intentions to be of great service to you. We will fly here and will continue to fly, and hopefully when time permits and opportunity comes, we don't even mind flying from here to international destinations.
Similar gesture was extended when the governor received the chairman and his entourage.
You are the first airlines company to show interest and visit the states. I want to assure you that my government shall provide an enabling environment.
The chairman was received by the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero.
When the chairman was here about a month or so back, he promised to bring his airline to start operating. And today is the fulfillment of that promise.
United Nigeria Airlines was established in 2020 and received its air operator certificate in February 2022. Currently, the airline operates flights from major cities within Nigeria with a plan to cover the whole country with its exceptional and affordable air services. I am Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
The Nigerian Correctional Service says it will continue to sanction officials found guilty of corrupt practices. Controller General of Corrections, Haliru Nababa, made the pledge during the commemoration of the International Anti-Corruption Day at the service headquarters in Abuja. Victor Azu reports.
It's an annual event, almost a ritual. Commemoration of the International Anti-Corruption Day is one that appears to resonate with personnel of the Nigerian Correctional Service. For some years now, the service has maintained a commendable rating in the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission's Ethics and Integrity Compliance Scorecard.
The Nigerian Correctional Service has over the years been a dependable ally of the ICPC, assiduously supporting the work of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Monitoring Unit, ACTU, of the service to reduce the menace of corruption in the system.
Commendations like these fuel the drive of the service to go one step further, and it appears to be yielding the desired results.
For us in the NCOS, our call to shun all corrupt tendencies is a higher one, considering the sensitivity of our mandate and the need to promote a high sense of morality, discipline, probity, and professionalism.
Executives, the legislature, and the judiciary. These are the three top policy-making institutions in Nigeria. Every other institution, ministry, department, and agencies come under these three particular groups.
Next year's event is expected to provide another opportunity to evaluate the service's progress in its anti-corruption campaign. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Time to go back to Lagos and link up with Hingino John Adams for more reports. Hingino.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is aligning with the federal government's drive in fostering sustainable marine and blue economy through training and retraining of staff and operators. This informed a 2-day retreat aimed at empowering participants with the rightful knowledge while defining the council's target in line with presidential priorities. Diana Ajali reports.
The Nigerian Shippers Council has remained consistent in accelerating innovation, championing progress, and navigating the dynamic waters in international trade.
It is for every one of us.
The 2-day special management retreat with the theme, Strengthening Economic Regulation of the Marine and Blue Economy for Sustainable Development, is therefore targeted at repositioning the Council for collective and effective service delivery while prioritizing efficient economic prosperity in Nigeria.
We want to achieve this. All that we intend to achieve in a very short time is to ensure port efficiency so that we can increase the volume of trade. And also, as the regulator in that sector, we need to do many other things.
Promotion of the sustainable blue economy investments, transforming ports operations, and enhanced port infrastructure were some of the issues treated at the opening of the 2-day retreat.
Part of the challenges we believe is the regulatory agency that is to make sure that this happens is not doing its own the way it should. So we're trying to enhance and empower it by legislation to have the legal backing to make sure that whatever the framework is set there, the regulator enforces it and makes sure that everything is done according to the framework that is established to run the maritime sector.
The Nigerian Shippers Council believes the knowledge gained
seem to have lost signals there from our Lagos center. We'll just take another break and the rest of the news will continue. In more news now, the head of service of the Federation, Folashade Yemiesa, has stressed the need for states to properly adopt information and communication technology into their working processes. This was contained in her presentation at the 2023 National Council on Establishments meeting holding in Bauchi. Awal Abdullahi reports.
This is the 45th meeting of the National Council on Establishments, which provided a platform for discussion on issues relating to working procedures in the Nigerian civil service.
The federal government has also intensified its investments in the area of value proposition for civil servants through a number of programs. We also have a lot of programs, agripreneurship programs, where after training, civil servants get a loan from the Bank of Agriculture and they can start their own farms immediately instead of waiting until after retirement.
Since we came first on board as a government in 2019, we have made concerted efforts towards motivating and improving the standard of living of the civil servants for greater productivity and result-oriented service.
Stakeholders were optimistic that the issues deliberated will help in the implementation of the new performance management system. Participants at the meeting are the heads of civil service from the 36 states of the Federation. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA.
And talking business now is Benny Adams. Benny?
Thank you and welcome to Business. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Anite, says a quick consideration and passage into law of bills bordering on status of weights and measures, the Federal Produce Inspection Bill, National Export Promotion Zone Bill, and the Oil and Gas Free Trade Zone Bill at the National Assembly will go a long way in boosting the fortunes of industry, trade and investment for economic growth. This was at the relaunch of Nigeria's trade policy of 2023 to 2027. The event also featured views on trade as a catalyst for economic diversification.
We are reviewing, also engaging with stakeholders to ensure that we come up with the right policies and enact the right laws that will support businesses, that will promote the growth of industries, and most importantly, promote trade amongst ourselves and the neighboring countries or international countries.
Director General, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Ifeanyi Chukwunonso Okeke, has inaugurated a 35-man committee to set standards guiding the usage of the compressed natural gas CNG for cars on Nigerian roads. Okeke, represented by his Chief of Staff, says the inauguration of the Technical Committee on Road Vehicles, LNG, LPG, CNG, and conversion kits in Abuja is in adherence to the present administration's directive to reduce the country's over-dependence on premium motor spirit and automotive gas oil, that is AGO, thus offering a more affordable, cleaner, and safe alternative fuel to Nigerians. Stakeholders say Nigerians should begin the mass use of CNG first quarter of 2024.
A kind of method to do this conversion, because this gas is very dangerous. It can explode at any time. It's more volatile than the petrol. So because of that, there should be a standard in place that this thing can take place without causing any harm to anybody.
And to get a look at markets, at the end of trading today, Nigerian equities appreciated by 0.22%, a total of 446.5 million shares in 6,845 deals, corresponding to a market value of 7.255 billion naira were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 3% improvement in volume, 10% decline in turnover, but 3% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 39.7 trillion naira. Access Holdings recorded the highest volume of 77.3 million traded shares, followed by FCMB Group 45.2 million and Zenith Bank 37.7 million. That is business news. Network News continues.
Thank you, Benny. The federal government has launched a national workplace policy on HIV and AIDS to serve as guide in the ongoing advocacy against stigmatization and the campaign towards ending the disease by 2030. Minister of State, Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha, performed the ceremony at a symposium commemorating World AIDS Day 2023. Joseph Otsen reports.
Knowing your HIV and AIDS status, top World Health Organization chart on ending the scourge. Out here, participants at this symposium take this starting point before this presentation on preventive response and management. This year, the world is embracing a community-led approach to ending the disease, and this prepares a perfect ground for the Nigerian government to launch a national workplace policy on HIV and AIDS.
I see workplaces that somebody has disclosed his or her status. They won't give the person assignment. When the person comes to office, everybody's avoiding him or her. So people die even before they can say anything. So I believe that this policy is good, but our attitude has to change. These people are human beings.
As part of our medium-term strategy, we are focused, among others, in 5 complementary strategic areas. 1, to end HIV-related discrimination in workplaces.
As we unite to tackle the challenges posed by this global health concern, we must acknowledge the collective efforts required to foster a healthy and supportive work environment for all.
This national workplace policy on HIV and AIDS to the government will propel workers to take a lead in protecting rights of persons living with the disease and play a key part in helping others get tested and access medication. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
Now, environment matters are everybody's business, and the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, has been championing the advocacy for environmental sustainability through packaged content on the NTA. Salwa Khalil reports that NTA's efforts were recognized at the 13th Annual Public Lecture and Award Ceremony by publishers of the Environment Outreach magazine.
COP28 might have ended, but Nigeria is not relenting in its advocacy on environmental matters.
But there's much more to that. There is the energy component to it. There is the climate mitigation.
This is the focus of this gathering, harnessing the potential of the blue economy for Nigeria's economic growth.
So it's very important that we take a deliberate step to protect our marine resources, which the blue economy, connotes.
So we need investors to come in, drive our solar energy, drive wind energy, drive the tidal energy.
For over 13 years, the Environment Outreach magazine has been spreading words about environmental issues through its publications, and it is recognizing its partners, including the Director General of the NTA, Comrade Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, who was represented by the Executive Director, Administration and Training, Nansel Nimiel.
I think this is first a recognition of the leadership of the Nigerian Television Authority and Comrade Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, and the commitment of the authority to issues of the environment. NTA has been in the forefront of promoting issues related to the environment.
At another forum, the Bureau of Public Service Reforms also honored the DG NTA for his contributions towards projection of policies of government through professional reportage and programs. The award of support was received by the General Manager, NTA International, Oganya Simon. Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
Thanks to advancements in technology and the availability of geospatial data services, it's been said that governments now have powerful tools at their disposal to enhance data creation and perform complex analyses for the security of the people and the economy. To leverage the benefits of these geospatial ecosystems, stakeholders at a one-day roundtable on geospatial ecosystems and their relevance to security are rubbing minds on how to accelerate the synergy in the production and use of the special technology in Nigeria. Muplang Dakok reports that Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, is confident that the team will come up with a roadmap for Nigeria's resources to be put to better use.
What can be done by that cooperation is enormous, from security to civilian use to educational use.
This is an opportunity for Nigeria to take a lead on experts. We will not leave this in the hands of francophone countries alone, if I must say. Because at the moment, we're actually working with ASECNA to get this thing off. But Nigeria must take leadership position.
Is to evolve ways to eradicate duplication of programs and tighten collaboration among key players within the geospatial ecosystems. Time for another quick break. We'll be back shortly. Now for some sport.
Team Bayelsa are winners of 2023 National Para Games in Abuja with 33 gold, 24 silver and 20 bronze medals to edge other 27 states who competed at the event, which held at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Abia State came second with 16 gold, 8 silver and 11 bronze, while Kano State with 15 gold, 12 silver and 17 bronze medals ended in third position. In another development, the Federal Ministry of Sports Development will monitor the implementation of resolutions reached at the just-ended two-day ministerial retreat on athletes' performance, with emphasis on scientific approach. Experts who engaged representatives from 27 Olympic and African Games sports in the country believe the process will aid optimal performance and guarantee podium finishes next year.
The athletes really don't have too much role to play in the matter. It's what the coaches tell them that they do. And because this retreat has involved the leadership of the federations, we hope there will be a trickle-down effect.
Today's sports performance
have gone in a new dimension. It's now an area of scientific and technology, and that is what we want to adopt now in ensuring that we move with the trend of events at the global.
That's it tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Cyril Stover. Good night.